Get cooking, cooking, cooking with Kathy.
Good morning, welcome back. Congratulations to Amanda from Kokana, who wins a signed copy of my cookbook and a $60 gift card to the Day Spa. Lucky lady. All right, time for a great summer recipe. Fire up the grill this weekend. It's Memorial Day weekend. No matter what the weather, you got to grill anyway. Just grill with a jacket on or something like that. But anyway, I say Memorial Day weekend is all about the great kickoff to summer and not about doing a whole lot of cooking. So I like to do one or two things, grill some brats, grill some burgers, or grill a steak, and then, head to the grocery store and pick up the rest of it. Pick up your sides, your potato salad, your pasta salad, and things like that. Make it easy. Enjoy your family and friends. You got to do that. Summer flies by too quick. So anyway, I've got a super easy steak marinade recipe that will just take any steak to the whole next level. And it's super simple. A lot of the stuff you already have right in your pantry. So we're starting out with 1/3 cup of soy sauce. And I'm just going to do that right in a measuring cup. That's a great way, instead of a bowl, to mix a marinade together. I've got 1/4 cup of honey, so it's going to have this sweet and salty flavor, and it's just delicious. 2 tablespoons of canola oil or vegetable oil, that would be fine too. And then a couple tablespoons of sherry cooking wine. So just kind of eyeball it. You don't need to measure it. This is great to have on hand in your pantry for all sorts of sauces and marinades and things like that. And it's got just kind of a screw cap, and you can, whenever you're doing some cooking, you've got your wine right there ready to go. Then I'm going to do a few cloves of garlic, 2 to 3 cloves, and I'm using fresh garlic for this recipe because we have just so few ingredients that it makes a big difference. Now, if all you have is the dried garlic, or the garlic that comes from a jar, that's going to work fine too, but I really like using the fresh here. So I'm just going to kind of give that a rough chop and get that in my marinade with the soy sauce and the oil and the honey and the sherry. And these are things that I just keep on hand in my pantry at home and at the cottage, so that if I'm doing steaks, throw this marinade on, and man, everybody just raves about it, and it's that something extra special. Now, I like to marinate, especially when I'm up at the cottage, in a Ziploc bag, just less dishes, no muss, no fuss, keep it all in there. And I also like to marinate for a good 24 hours. So if you can think about it, to do it the night before gives it even more flavor. But if it's one of those things where you just have thought about it a couple hours ahead of time, it's all going to be great too. So big Ziploc bag, in goes my steak. I'm using a flank steak, so this is going to be enough marinade for about a nice big 2-pound flank steak, or about 4 regular size steaks. So any kind of steak will work. I happen to love flank steak because it's one of those not real expensive cuts of meat that really calls for a marinade. It's very, very lean, and one big steak will serve, my family and maybe even a couple other guests. You can slice it up into thin strips, and not everybody needs their own steak. So I just kind of use my hands to make sure that marinade gets all around, and then this goes into the fridge, and I usually will put it in a pan too, just to make sure we don't have leaking all over the fridge. Let it hang out in the fridge for a few hours, or even better, overnight, and then grill it up. And here we go. It's right here. Absolutely beautiful. I like to let my steak rest a good 10 to 15 minutes before you slice into it. And when you're doing flank steak especially, you want to slice it against the grain. And let me tell you, you can just tell all that extra flavor just from that little bit of marinade. And by the way, recipes on our website. You can also pick it up at any Festival Foods.